Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Okay, so we are on an amazing journey right now. It's like we are flying fast into another dimension. So this video is going to wrap up a couple things from the last 3 videos. Alright, so I promised you I would explain a verse, Matthew 20:16. So the last will be first, and the first will be last. Okay? So what happened was I was listening to a song from a band I found about 3 years ago. The band is named Adelaide, Adelaide, and the song is called I'm Alive. Well, I went to find the lyrics on Google because they weren't on the YouTube channel they had, and I couldn't find them anywhere. Okay? So what I realized, I found this one page that said, hey, if you'd like to, basically fill out the lyrics, you go ahead and do it. And then somebody will check on it later and make sure it was done right. So I was like, yeah. So what happened was I had to keep playing it over and over. And the more I listened to the song, the more I got into it, the more emotionally I got into it. So the more I tuned into my emotional right brain, the more the words had meaning, and the deeper I began to understand what the words and the lyrics meant. So the deeper meaning had obviously came out. Now here's the funny thing. I'd listened to this band's music almost religiously for months because it was when I was going through the deep part of the narcissist abuse in the dark tower, whatever you want to call that. And I didn't even realize this was a Christian band until about maybe 6 months later or so. So as I was writing these lyrics for this website, the website's called Music Match. I'll put the link down in there in the description box and a link to the YouTube video so you can hear the song. Really, really good song. The one thing that shocked me about this band, because they actually do a tour every summer. It's not a huge tour. I think they do probably 8 locations or 12 or something like that. And I was really shocked and surprised that they don't have a ton, millions of followers and views, and they don't. It's kind of, I'm almost about to catch up to them. They've got about 4,000 subscribers, and I was kind of like, something's not right here. So I'm not going to delve into that right now, but the band is an amazing band, so please go ahead and listen to at least this one song and read the lyrics. Okay, so all of my YouTube videos are designed, or maybe I should say the purpose and intention, is to give you a new perspective shift so you can see things from a completely different perspective. Alright, so I'm gonna say this right now. This realization I had is what it is all about. It's like, and I'm gonna explain this differently, okay? That verse from, what was it, Matthew or Mark, or let's see, what was it? Matthew 20:16. So the last will be first and the first will be last. Well, when I read the story that goes along with that, I read it 100 times, didn't get it. In fact, to be honest with you, I thought it was kind of unfair. I kind of thought, wait, so these people showed up at work at 8 in the morning and were promised so many shekels, and then other people showed up 4 hours later, and then other people showed up an hour right before they quit working, and they all got paid the same. Wait a minute, that doesn't seem right. What I'm going to explain to you is what it was really trying to tell you. And here's the deal. For those of you that went through narcissist abuse, this is what it is all about. And a quick side note, as usual, the music will get a little bit quieter as we move along. I'm going to turn it down inside the editing. Alright, so let's go. Okay, so let's go to the lyrics. Hold on, let me pull them up. Alright, so it starts out and says, I was out of time, struggling to breathe, the gasp of life trying to bury me. And then I open my eyes, I'm awakening. You're breathing new life. I'm finally standing, yeah. I'm braver now that I've survived. I'm strong enough to face the fire. I'm rising up from the ashes. I'm alive, I'm alive. I was falling fast to certain death. They just walked past as they turned their heads. And they came to my grave with no sympathy. What they did not know was, you have seen me, yeah. Alright, so for those of you who went through that really, really, really dark, that dark narcissist abuse time, and you got away from them and you were still scared for a year, 2, 3 years, that's what she's trying to describe. Now she has some other songs that I just started, because a lot of times I'll love a song and I'll have no idea what the lyrics are. I just love the music, right? But I think on an unconscious level, there's a feeling inside that I'm unconsciously picking up the words without realizing it. So her songs are about what we've all been going through. Okay, so in the very beginning it says, I was out of time struggling to breathe, the gasp of life trying to bury me, sorry. That's what it feels like. It feels like there's this darkness, this pressure, like you can't, like you're in this panic and you can't even breathe. She says, and then I opened my eyes, I'm awakening, you're breathing new life, I'm finally standing, yeah. I'm braver now that I've survived, I'm strong enough to face the fire. So the message I got out of that was, and this is going to get way better, by the way, this is just the tip of what I'm leading up to. Do not miss what I'm going to explain here. You become brave when you walk through the fire. You become stronger to where you can begin to face the fire and you can start to fight back. That's the part where she says, I'm rising up from the ashes. I'm alive. I'm alive. Because what they're doing is they're trying to take your life, meaning your joy for life, your happiness, your passion, your will to live. And that's exactly what narcissists do. They try to take that away from you. So she goes on to say, and they came to my grave with no sympathy. What they did not know was, you have seen me. So you begin to have a realization that God's very, very aware of you, and that God knows you, and God sees you for who you are. I'm going to read off one more piece, and then I'm going to get to the realization I had, okay? So a little bit below it says, rescued, renewed, I had to talk to myself. Rescued, renewed, I had to talk to myself. This is the phase when you go through the isolation phase for at least 2 years, where you completely block people out. Even if you're at work, you just don't socialize, you don't go out to lunch with people, you just don't do anything. So this is the phase where you're in that, what I call the Great Wall of China. It's like there's this huge boundary around you, and all of a sudden, see, the problem with call us light workers, spiritual people, empaths, good-hearted people, we tend to not have boundaries. We tend to not enforce our boundaries, and all of a sudden we're completely different. We've got this great wall of China. That's why I use that phrase, because all of a sudden the walls go way up, and you're like, whoa, what the hell is this? You know, your spirit, the spirit inside of you is like, hey, we got to put these walls up. We have to protect our emotions right now. We're damaged. And on top of that, you're also having to refigure out everything. You're going to have to develop new strategies. Like, how do I talk to people? How do I deal with people? Like, what do I do when I'm talking to a narcissist, or when someone's like trying to be rude or dominate me, or stuff like that. So you are in isolation because you are talking to yourself, thinking about all the different situations, all the different strategies, everything you've learned and seen and heard in movies and from your parents and your neighbors and the people across the street. Like, your brain's going through all the possibilities. So one of the things you're doing is having boundaries, and you're starting to say, I'm done letting people hurt me. I'm done letting people walk all over me because they say they love me. You're like, I'm not going to do that anymore. That's not love. And that's one of the realizations you start to have. You're like, wait, that's not love. And then you start to realize all the people you let in your life who didn't love you, but you convinced yourself, you lied to yourself, and that wasn't love. So one of the advices I give to people is here's what I say. I say, I don't care if you lie to other people, but don't lie to yourself. That's where you start getting confused and mixed up. That's what causes problems. You have got to be honest with yourself. So right now I'm going to go into the realization, but it's really important to be honest with yourself. If someone's being mean to you, just like it says here, don't allow someone to treat you poorly just because you love them. That doesn't mean they love you, and that's one of the lies that a lot of us do to ourselves. Okay, so as I was reading here, let me pull up right here. So as I was reading the lyrics, I got this vision in my mind's eye. So towards the bottom, she says, "Every heartbeat pulls throughout eternity. I'm braver now that I've survived. I'm strong enough to face the fire. I'm rising up from the ashes." So here's the deal: you are in a race, which is also a trap. Now the trap came from the narcissist, the serpent, etc. See, your whole life since you were a little child, you were lied to. You were lied to by your government, by teachers, by every narcissist in every nook and corner that you've, whether it was a grocery store, a nurse, whatever, a friend, a neighbor's mom, etc. So this race is different, okay? So the first will be last and the last will be first. Now, this race is essentially you getting out of the trap, okay? So you were basically, it's like you're in this ball of lies that surround you, okay? So what you're doing, and this is what I've been doing with all these videos, this is why you guys keep having a bunch of aha moments, like the word salad, the advanced word salad video. For a lot of you, that was like, wow, it not only did it make a lot of sense, it really gave you a tool to see it when someone's doing it to you. So I'll add that video at the very end of this so you can just click on it on the screen, okay? It's called Advanced Word Salad, something destroying narcissist or narcissist abuse, okay? So I'll add that at the end. So that's one gold gem that you learn. Go, oh, so now, boom, you just took away one of the tricks that they do, one of the lies, one of the tactics that they use. So now when you see it, like, oh, narcissist, boom, you walk away. You can even cuss them out if you want. So another one is they don't want you to defend yourself, protect yourself, or stand up for yourself, let alone speak up for yourself. They say, no, that's bad, that's wrong. So when you start to realize, hey, wait a minute, this is kind of one-sided. You're sitting here attacking me mentally, emotionally, and physically if you can legally get away with it, and I'm not allowed to even speak up for myself? Oh, bullshit, screw that. And there's another one that you cleared, okay? So now you cleared two. See, your goal is to see through the bullshit. That's really what it's all about. To be honest with yourself, and to see things for the way they are, not the way they were said or the way they were told to you. So actions speak louder than words. Well, we hear this all the time, but most of us don't even know what that means. Like, what does that mean? And some, well, I'll give some bullshit explanation, but nobody really breaks it down. It's like, look, I don't care what someone says to you. That doesn't mean shit. That has zero on the weight of the scales of balance, okay? Zero weight. What they do is what they're saying. Words are meaningless to me. So if someone says they're going to go to the grocery store and they're going to get you 10 roses and they don't bring any roses, well, that's what they said. I'm not bringing you any roses. The words that came out of their mouth are meaningless unless it's matched up with the physical actions. So the only thing that matters is the physical actions. So the physical actions of what they did speaks louder than words. So for those of us who've gone through that Great Wall of China experience where we're isolated and we're kind of in our own head talking to ourselves and figuring stuff out, one of the things we figure out is, words are cheap. Words don't mean jack shit. People lie all the time. So you start paying attention to their actions. If they say they're going to do something, do they do it? Or if they say this is what they believe, do they follow through with that? So you start paying attention to what they actually do. Alright, so here's my overall message with all those things. I could teach you a ton of things, but that wasn't the purpose. It was giving you some ideas of the things you've learned and figured out through this dark night of the soul, the Great Wall of China experience. Is you're in this race, and it's like a marathon, and here's the deal. There's people on the sidewalks cheering you on. There's people trying to help you, people giving you water, maybe an orange or something to eat real quick. And people are just cheering you on. Now, here's the really weird thing. At the end of this marathon, miles up, the people that have finished are cheering for you, begging you to keep going, keep figuring this game out, keep learning. And then there's people like me who came all the way back to help you. We're the ones handing you the water. We're the ones putting your arm over our shoulders and helping you to run this race. We're the ones that are there, standing next to you, going through it again with you. See, it's not really a race, but once you start figuring it out, you start getting excited and you start seeing not the end zone, but the finish line. And you start realizing, wait a minute, this is all a game. Yeah, it's a game. It's a game of lies. It's a game of manipulation. It's a game of just absolute pure bullshit. It's a game of lies. And the way you get out of this trap is by seeing through the lies. And the way you do that is by being totally, completely 100% honest with yourself. Now, the left brain religious people are going to hear, oh, so be a good person, so you're a good person. No, that's not what I'm saying. See, the left brain people are going to hear rules. They're going to think, oh, okay, so someone's going to win this race. No. That's the dynamic that the left brain cannot understand. Well, it's either you or me. It's either or. That mentality couldn't understand this video if it wanted to. It's like we're trying to reach you inside your own little box, your own little ball of yarn, and we're trying to unravel it with you to get you out. See, this is why that's why it's hard to explain to the either or mentality, because they see everything as competition, as either or, right or wrong. And it's like there's a bunch of people around you that are helping you and you don't even know it. Alright, one of the things that I realized years ago was this whole idea of arguing. What a waste of complete, total time. All I want to do is understand. I just want to understand someone. So when you argue, you don't listen to understand, so you can't understand what the other person's saying. Like, have you ever been in an argument where they're disagreeing with something? Like, well, wait a minute, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're actually in agreement. Like, no, you're saying this and this means, like, no, that doesn't mean that, and I don't mean that. I guess you do. And you're like, wait, what am I doing here? I'm trying to convince this person that I'm not saying what he thinks I'm saying. Like, it's just like a basketball of yarn all intertwined and tied up in knots, and like, what the hell? Like, so I don't argue. There's no reason to argue. So that's another one. When you start to realize that people that argue, like, don't even talk to them. There's just no reason to talk to them. Just listen to understand them, and then when it's your turn, speak, and they should listen to understand you. And if they don't, just walk. Alright, so here's how to get out of the trap. So understand number one. Okay, now this came from my spiritual awakening when it was a 6-month awakening. It was the most amazing experience of my entire life. It lasted for 6 months, and there was lessons. Every night there was lessons, and so a lot of things that I'm teaching you now came from that. Okay, not just in this video, but over the last 2-3 years, etc. So number one is, and this is something you have to understand, because the either or people screwed everything up. Essentially, that's the serpent. So life is a gift that was meant to be enjoyed. I'm going to say this over and over again. Life is a gift that was meant to be enjoyed. It was a gift from God. God created this three-dimensional experience for us to see, hear, feel, smell, and taste, to have contrast, to have experiences, etc. So the second thing you need to understand, and you have to keep it really, really simple, is you need to know, like, well, how do I know what's right? Okay, because this is one of the things, because, all right, it's funny because everything in the Bible agrees with this, and yet what I heard wasn't what the Bible actually said, even though I read it, but it didn't really go in, okay? So I remember calling my pastor, and I made a list of verses and things like, hey, this is what I'm reading now. And I literally said, look, I'm not sure if I'm losing my mind or if I'm finally actually understanding the Bible for the first time. He goes, no, Michael. It was Pastor Rex. He goes, Michael, you're actually getting it. He goes, you've been getting it for a while now, and we are very, very proud of you. He was talking about the elders. Apparently the elders of the church and him had been talking about me for a long time because of my understandings of the Bible. Alright, so here's what it is. So, love. So I remember, like, I was like, well, how do I know what's right or wrong? And God said love. That's how you'll know. And that just simplified everything for me. And I was like, okay. See, if you're talking to someone and you have confusion and doubt, that's not love. That's evil. If you feel tired, if you feel exhausted, if you feel scared, if you have fear, even if you don't know why, get away from that person. That is not love. If you belong to a church that heavily uses or even uses guilt, shame, and fear tactics, you don't belong to a church. You belong to a cult. So remember, every emotion falls under two categories. Number one is love, happiness, joy, peace, harmony, clarity. Clarity is a really important one, because if you have clarity around someone, that's a really good sign. So the other list is fear. So you've got fear, guilt, shame, confusion, doubt, etc. So all positive words fall under love. All negative fall under fear. Now the reason why you need to know that life is a gift is because those two-dimensional creatures, beings, either or, they turned everything into pain and punishment and shame and guilt. The whole idea of coming to the planet, to coming to this universe, this three-dimensional experience, was to experience it. Literally, this is why it's important to understand that God made this for us. This was a gift. A gift was not meant to be punishment in any way. So remember, number one, life is a gift that was meant to be enjoyed. Number two, how do you know if it's right or wrong? Or maybe I shouldn't say it that way, but how do you know if it's good? Love. Do you have loving experiences? Again, it's the list of words. Love, peace, harmony, clarity. Clarity is such an important one. So if you're dealing with someone, talking to someone, or someone's trying to convince you of something, like, what are you feeling? Are you feeling pressure? Are you feeling happiness? Are you feeling joy? Are you feeling doubt? Are you confused? Get away. I mean, it is really black and white. Number one, when you understand that, hey, this was meant to be fun. This is meant to be a positive experience, even if it's a positive learning experience. Okay, so number one, you have to know that, because there's a lot of people that will convince you, oh, life is, you're supposed to suffer. And yet those same people, the religious people, Christians, will say, well, Jesus paid the price. The price has been paid. I'm like, well, if the damn price has been paid, why the hell are you shaming and guilting me and telling me I'm going to hell and I'm not worthy? The price has been frickin' paid. I mean, it's confusing. Oh, wait. Confusing. There's one of those words. Again, life is a gift. Number two, how do you know? Is it of love or is it of fear? You know, kind of on a funny note, you know, you go to these churches, go to Christian churches, etc. Now, I'm not trying to knock the Christian church, except there is a cleaning of the house that needs to be done. I'm sorry, but if you don't admit that, then you're just not listening to God. You're just not. The Christian church has gone astray, and there's a lot of confusion. So let me say this. I find it funny when on the one hand, to get you into the church, you're like, Jesus loves you. The price has been paid. And then the minute you get there, like, oh, you're a sinner. You're going to hell. You're going to burn for all eternity. You're like, well, what's going on here? You guys invited me into love, and now it's all satanic and evil and burning fires everywhere. Look, you know, honestly, the purity of love that comes from God is literally just that. It's a purity of love. It really, really is. The more you clear out this knotting of this, kind of like a little kitty cat that plays with a bundle of yarn and it becomes a big old knotted ball. The more you clear up all of these lies and confusion and conflicts, and you know, like on the one hand, Jesus is about peace, and yet they're going to throw you in a burning fire. You're like, whoa, what's going on? Look, okay, God does not need to intimidate you. God does not need to threaten you. God does not need to make you suffer. God wants you to come to Him of your own free will, because it is an amazing, beautiful, wonderful experience. Period. End of sentence. So here's another one that goes along with all these rules, or 2 rules so far. Walk away from bad, go towards good. That sounds simple, but I am telling you, I've heard that my whole life, but it really hit me about 10 years ago. I was like, I was meditating when it hit me. I am telling you, that is life-changing. Walk away from bad, go towards good. If you would have done this 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, you never would have dealt with narcissist abuse for more than 30 minutes. Probably more like 3 minutes. Seriously. So, to simplify this even more, that 3rd rule really is the same thing as the 2nd rule. So let me clarify this a little bit more. Number 1, life is a gift that was meant to be enjoyed. Rule number 2, walk away from bad, go towards good. So the last will be first and the first will be last. You are in your own little space, running your own little race, or you're in your own game, okay? You have to get out of this illusion, out of this box of lies, out of this circle of lies. That's what this race is all about. And here's the deal. Everybody wins. Because this has nothing to do with other people. This is about you getting through these lies, getting through these illusions, and popping out of it. That has nothing to do with anyone else other than you being able to help other people get out of their box of lies. The sooner you get out, the sooner they get out. That's the way it works for all. And the more people that get out, the more they help others. Hey, this is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Go ahead and click subscribe, click the like button, and make a comment. If you've liked this video, go ahead and make a donation. It's right there in the description box. There's a PayPal link. Alright guys, God bless you. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.